Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of the Frame Found podcast. I am your host, Chris Tinsley. I think maybe let's just get started off with what exactly is this podcast show all about? I think, as was trying to think through like the best way to kind of articulate all of this is it really is just a show regarding or like surrounding the topic of organizational effectiveness. That just has such like a broad reach, and that's actually on purpose. I don't know, just kind of talking through right now, like I just have like a backlog of all these topics that I want to expand on. And when just trying to kind of figure out the umbrella that it falls under, it is all under the umbrella of organizational effectiveness. So that can touch topics like project management, general like operations, leadership topics, change management, just people in general. So just, yeah, I don't know. It's a show that is just going to expand on all of those arenas, I guess. I feel like doing this intro episode's actually, for some reason, been the hardest one because like talking about myself and like what this thing is feels very unnatural. So I don't know. I'll just say it. Like I'm really excited to get this episode in the can and then out into the world because I just really want to get started on all those other topics. Now. Who am I talking to on this podcast? It's really anybody who is into, I guess, call it efficiency and effectiveness within all of the domains that I just mentioned. It's, as much as this podcast is going to focus a lot on very tangible things like operations, like logistics, like project management, and all the best practices that come along with that. It's also going to touch a lot on the intangibles, right? Like the leadership topics. How do you like rally and inspire teams? How do you navigate change management throughout an organization? How do you lead up and down and across, right? So, which those are all things that they're intangible. Like they're not really like a hard skill that you could take some sort of test and get a certification in. Like they're very ambiguous, very open-ended topics. And I don't know, I think just what I've found through the years of working is that like all of these things are interconnected, which is kind of cool. And I don't know, I'm just excited to start this podcast and kind of go on this journey with you guys together, I guess. Cause like, there's a lot of stuff that's happening up here in my brain. And ever since making the choice to kind of, go with this endeavor, it's been a real struggle trying to figure out how to kind of like articulate all of those things in a way that's very succinct and that people can easily follow, a through line in, let's just say like a 20-minute or like a 30-minute episode. And it's cool because it's forcing me to think about these things in a different light, like really to sit down and like take my time on how am I going to move from one point to the next. So I don't know. I think that was some information that just wanted to let you guys know that, as watchers or viewers of this podcast, you're just going to kind of see me stumble a lot, like I already have been, of just even trying to make that previous point. But I think that's kind of the whole point in this whole thing. And I don't know. Eventually I'd love to have like guests on the show to kind of just have more of a dialogue with. But I don't know, in the meantime, we'll just stick with this kind of stream of consciousness solo podcast for now. All right, so what problems am I trying to solve with just kind of creating this podcast? I think I'm really just kind of trying to create a community of folks to have long form conversations as it pertains to organizational effectiveness and, all those kind of like sub like arenas that I mentioned previously. I just think like these are all topics that I don't know. I haven't seen anything that's casual and long form. A lot of stuff is really preachy. It's kind of cringe. It's a little too like polished. It's a little, I don't know, on the nose. I don't know. I could say a bunch of other things, I guess. But like, I think it's important that, I don't know, this is why I'm excited about launching this podcast, is that a lot of things that I've seen out in the world, it's kind of like trying to like summarize something in, I don't know, an hour or two. And it's not that simple. Like what I've just found throughout my career is that, every single topic, there's fundamentals and then there's advanced components of that thing. And I don't think that enough people talk about that and like really think through those factors and then how they're kind of all tied to one another. I know that sounds really cryptic as I'm talking, but that's also the whole point of this podcast, is so that I can expand on all of those things. And I don't know, just as I'm, talking to you all right now and I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, man, I really want to, I want to talk about, like topic A, B, and C and X, Y, and Z right now. Cause like, it gets me so excited, but that's also not the point of this episode. And, I don't want to tangent too far. So yeah, I don't know. I guess that's kind of the problem I'm trying to solve. I'm just trying to, create a community of folks to just have like ongoing long form conversations about all of these topics. So I don't know. I'm excited about that. Some of you might be asking what's with the name FrameFound. Just to kind of give you a little bit of history there. Was one random summer day, my wife and we decided to launch a consultancy. I'll kind of expand on that at a different time, but how the name kind of came to be was, quite frankly, it was just word association. The frame part does stand for framework. So that's something that we're both really passionate about. It's what this whole, I guess, call it what the whole brand is all about, right? Is finding, creating, like deploying certain frameworks for teams to tackle certain problems. That's really what it is in its professional sense, but I'm also just a big fan of like frameworks in general in life. I think it's just, life's complicated, and when you kind of understand how things work, it's easier to navigate and connect the dots. So that's kind of what the first part of the brand name came from. And now when it comes to the found part of FrameFound, that was also part of the word association, but the found part comes from, and I'm dating myself by saying this, it comes from an old website called FFF Found. It was kind of a rudimentary like Tumblr website, just a mashup of all these people just kind of contributing like content into a stream. And that's what this is. I'm hoping that this podcast is, and eventually, it'd be cool to have like guests on the show, but we're all going to kind of be contributing into the stream, into the zeitgeist of, I don't know, I guess the best way I have to put it is into the topic or into the zeitgeist of organizational effectiveness. Maybe down the road, I'll figure out a different like bucket or something to put these things in or to call it. But for now, that's the one that makes the most sense. So all in all, that's the that's the whole advent of FrameFound, right? Like word association with I don't know, two things that I thought made the most sense. All right, so generally speaking, what's my philosophy? I think maybe the best way to put it is, I should probably find who had this quote originally, but how you do anything is how you do everything. And again, I'm really excited to expand on all of these topics in the show because I really do believe that all of these things are interconnected in some kind of way, some in like a direct way, some in indirect ways. And that's both for the tangibles and the intangibles. All right, so what can listeners expect from each episode? From each episode, I'm going to just summarize a few key takeaways in whatever topic I'm discussing. Ultimately, I'm just kind of gonna riff on something, and then I'll just tie it all together at the end. And that's what you can expect from each episode. But what I'm really hoping from this podcast in general is that you glean something from this and it inspires something. And I hope to hear about it. Like, I do want to hear about it, like in the comments, like, and it'll inspire something else for me to talk about. And if it has any impact on how you navigate your professional life or your personal life, like, I'm stoked on that. And I would love to hear about that. So I don't know, that's what you can expect from each episode. And I don't know, I'm just kind of hoping that I hear about it. That's it. All right, so why now? Why launch a podcast now? The truth of the matter is, I really enjoy these topics. I think in my career, it's been really great working with the clients that we have, and it's great having, like theoretical conversations and also practical conversations regarding all of these topics, within a professional sense. But there's something about I just want it to be more casual now. I want the focus to be the conversation. Like it's not like a byproduct when like working with a team on some sort of actionable, like project, right? I want it to just be the conversation. I hope that makes sense. I think we're entering a very interesting era right now with, when it comes to artificial intelligence. I think when we look at the globalization of work and like the level of complexity that comes along with that, it's a lot. And it's been really interesting throughout my career, working with the folks that I have, where there's so many through lines in all of this stuff. Like there's a slew of fundamentals that have universal application, like regardless of the context. And like I said, it's been fun to talk about those things when working with clients and partners on, contractual projects. Like, that's cool. It's fun. It's fun when that happens, but like it's a fleeting thing. And I really just want to make this a regular thing. So that's really ultimately why this podcast has started now. These are topics that I really enjoy. And yeah, let's keep talking about them. All right, so what's the real promise of the show? Well, I really do believe that if you understand how something works, you can start to improve it. So my hope is that, through each of these episodes that, I do, that it inspires something in you. And again, I would love to hear what that specifically is, because it's going to, by default, inspire something in me whether it be expanding on that topic in a deeper sense, or it creates a through line to a different topic that I'm like, oh, that's something that I need to expand on. So yeah, that's the promise of the show. And I don't know, I'm excited to see where it goes. All right, guys, let's find an off-ramp for this particular, first episode. I want to thank you guys all for tuning in, for even just taking the time to just watch this first episode of mine. I don't know. I hope what I laid out is exciting to you guys. I'm going to be making it a point to post on a weekly cadence, and I don't know. I'm really excited to kind of work through the backlog of ideas that I have for all the episodes, because my brain's just firing on all cylinders right now. And I don't know. I'm just excited to get that out into the world and see what you guys think. And again, I just really hope that it inspires something in you guys. And yeah, I don't know. Just welcome to the show. Welcome to the Frame Found podcast. And see you again on next week's episode. Thank you, everybody.